All right, y'all, we are back with some more conspiracy theories and unexplained mysteries. But before we get to the video, man, we got to unplug some more people out of the matrix, all right? And you do that by hitting the like button, then putting hashtag unplugged in the comment section, all right? And if you're new, subscribe. That's it. Let's get to the video.
We saw a craft. It was silent. It was hovering.
Please tell me this is the end of the world.
Think about that too. Why are they always hovering near or over or somewhere in close proximity to a military base?
UFOs are real.
Think about that.
Our government has told you that much. They said that there are machines, we can't duplicate their technology, and we don't know where they're from. There's no sticker, there's no tag that says made in China, made in Russia. We don't know. But this idea that we don't have a 360-degree complete understanding of what's within our airspace, now that is a problem. My name's Jeremy Corbell, and I'm an investigative journalist, and I tend to focus on this strange world of UFOs and the puzzle that makes up the whole experience of UFOs. There are things that just keep us up at night, things that we can't put down, like studying UFOs. And on this show, we're going to cover all the things that do that to us, that excite us. That was my thinking.
You and I have talked about it a lot of times over the last decade or so, the big questions. Who are they? Where are they from? Why are they here? What's their interest in us? Oh, and the more I learn, the fuzzier those answers get. Some of this activity, it doesn't fit into a category.
And the more that you look into this topic, the more unsure you are of the conclusions that you really started with. I mean, we all start with some idea of what we think it is.
Yeah.
And the UFO mystery, I can't be a passive consumer of this. I have to be an active participant.
See, that was me, man. I started out just being like, okay, possibly. But at the same time, I think the human component of me knowing when I'm being lied to or I'm not being told the 100% truth is when I started kind of like really diving in and getting really into this both feet. And that's when it started being like eye-opening and awakening to things, and you're hearing things and you're starting to see and you're like, oh, okay. All right, you onto something.
I've got a podcast called Weaponized Podcast, and George Knapp and I, he's my mentor in journalism, we usually drop these cases through that visual podcast called Weaponized. This is an interesting one. Here's the basics of it, man. One of the largest military bases on planet Earth. It's called 29 Palms out of California. It's a Marine base.
29 Palms.
Spanning nearly 1,200 square miles, the Combat Center is the largest Marine Corps base in the world and is the only Marine Corps installation that has adequate land and airspace to conduct service-level training with fully integrated combined arms live fire.
I got a tip that there was an event and I should find people that maybe photographed it or filmed it. That's all the information that I got. Within 36 hours, I was able to find that there were 50 plus witnesses that claim to have seen a triangular shaped craft that was hovering over the base silently. It was not descending. It was just a craft. And when I saw the first images, it was kind of like black footage because you're filming at night on iPhones. And I was like, oh, those are probably flares. No problem. However,
now see, he even discredited a little bit to a certain extent just then. This could be flares. You know what I mean? Just maybe because you don't always take the first piece of evidence and say, okay, this has got to be it. You kind of Okay, you want to shoot holes through it too. You do. You want to do that too. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just like you diving in head first and saying, oh, that's what it is. No, you want to shoot holes through it too to make sure you're not just bringing some bogus stuff to the public.
Everybody was reporting to me that they saw the body of a craft. And so as the footage started coming in, and this is just about 2 years ago, that's when this all came to me. So within 36 hours, I got people recorded, documented, on the record, telling me, hey, we shoot up flares. This wasn't that. We saw a craft. It was silent. It was hovering.
Those are not aluminum rounds because aluminum rounds fall. And nobody shoots in a 5-gun section.
No, you can see like an outline of something.
It's moving.
And then luckily, they did shoot up illumination rounds. And so you can see this big difference between what an illumination round or like a flare looks like and whatever this V-shaped formation of lights looks like. So I thought, okay, let me look a little bit more into that. Well, some of the people had iPhones with low light capability. And so they're saying, look, you can kind of see the outline or the shape of the body of what we saw. So this is what we're looking at now. It's an interesting photo because with the low light function of the iPhone, you're able to make out what appears to be the actual shape of what was described verbally to me by some of these witnesses who went on record, by the way, and we played that audio on the Weaponized podcast.
U.S. Marine 2 days after the event.
So I'm a mortarman, and he's artillery.
What are the facts, man? Like what base, which Marine base, and what time was this?
2 nights ago, it was roughly like 8:25-ish at night. It was near 29 Palms, California.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the base at all, but Camp Wilson is attached to 29 Palms. It's like a one-way road in and out of the camp.
One of my buddies was outside, and he was looking in the sky, and then it just kind of appeared out of nowhere. And we all came out and looked, and then slowly, like 50-plus people started coming out and looking. Those lights appeared out of nowhere.
Obviously, a lot of people saw this. What did people think?
They were just kind of like baffled. Nobody could recognize it. I mean, we're all in the military, so you'd think we'd...
This happened in a number of places. I've got reports from other people. They're coming in. The video you sent me, was that yours?
Yes, that was mine. That was from my iPhone.
And the photo, was that a still photo or pulled from the video?
It was a still photo. If you look in the picture, you can see like a black triangular shape.
Why are these not flares?
Because they stayed there.
Again, this is someone in the military. So wouldn't you think if it was some type of enemy spy plane or something like that, it would be a lot of chatter about what it is. We'd be able to quickly identify it and say that's what that is. But he's in the military saying, I have no clue. I pulled out my phone and I took pictures and video, bro. Like, this stuff is serious, man. People are really serious about figuring out what this is and if this is a threat to us.
Black triangular shape.
Why are these not flares?
Because they stayed there for a solid 10 minutes, just in the same spot.
And flares don't sit in one spot for 10 minutes?
No, they fall.
So you personally know that these were not flares. Do you believe this was a craft?
Yeah, I would have to believe so. With the picture I took with the black triangular shape underneath the lights, it's definitely not any type of like flare or illumination rounds or anything.
I didn't mean to butt in, but I work with artillery, and we shoot illumination rounds out of our arty guns into the air to illumine infantry guys. And this was nothing compared to what that is. Like, this was something none of us had ever seen before. It was a completely different color. The size of the illumination was different. And when we shoot illumination rounds, it's one, you shoot it in the air and let it drop, then you shoot another one. This was like, obviously you've seen the picture, this was like 5 right next to each other, and they're kind of reddish, and our loom rounds are like a yellow-white color.
So this was a craft.
So you're staggering the illumination rounds. You're shooting one, letting it fall, and shooting another one, right? Earlier, when we saw the formation of the lights, you saw it in this triangular formation, right? And when it moved, they all moved together, like it was all connected. It didn't look individual, like one fell down, next one came down, kind of like you would see in an air show or something like that. No, it was connected and it moved and dipped. So, which leads us to believe that it's all connected, meaning it's one singular vessel. That's what I'm thinking.
And our loom rounds are like a yellow-white color.
So this was a craft. Was it hovering, stationary? Was there any sound?
Well, there was absolutely no sound.
That's
No
scary.
sound, but it was definitely stationary.
How big was it? Estimate to me. How big?
Compared to one of those stealth bombers, the size.
Well, hold on. Stealth bombers can't hover.
Exactly. That's why I can compare it to that, but that's how I know it wasn't that.
I would say the size of like 3-bedroom house. I don't know. Maybe bigger.
Whoa. 3-bedroom house that big? Come on now. 3-bedroom house? Why are you carrying around a craft that big? Why are you? What are you bringing? What are you dropping off? Huh? Or what are you collecting? That size of a craft, you're either taking something or dropping something off, in my opinion, is what I would think.
House. I don't know. Maybe bigger.
So people are arguing, this is, there was training going on. There's always training going on. This is a training base. Here's the point. We don't know. This is an active investigation. Were these just flares, or are these reports of seeing a triangle craft, like the body of it? Is that correct? Couldn't get more information. I kind of tapped out all the sources. I wasn't getting more information. And I'm like, okay, it's time to put this out, and let's see now. The power of crowdsourcing. Let's see now. Were more people there? Is there longer footage? The footage I have ranges within 6 minutes from the first piece of footage to the last. When I look at the metadata, it's 6 minutes, but this thing was described as being up there between 10 and 25 minutes without dissent. So I can prove, to a high degree, I can prove 10 minutes, but we're trying to see if it's more. You said that there were like objects that came out and like circled it right after, and then it went dark? What do you mean?
So right before they went out, the loom rounds popped off over top of it. Those 2 orange lights, the actual loom rounds that went up over top of it, and then after that it disappeared, like just straight went black, and then helicopters started like hauling towards it, and they went like in the direction of it, and then they started circling the area.
These helicopters were circling for a good bit afterwards, and there was a convoy as well that went out. It was like a 60-plus truck convoy that we saw go out as well.
We were taking pictures afterwards. It was just straight black. It just disappeared.
I'm surprised that the military guys, I'm speaking about the military guys, I'm surprised that their phones wasn't confiscated and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I would believe that they would be trying to keep this under wraps. They would be trying to suppress this before it got out. Now, I would definitely, and I'm pretty sure this dude probably did too, probably looked into their backgrounds, the dudes he was interviewing, to kind of see what type of credibility he was dealing with before he released it out. I'm pretty sure he probably did that. You know what I mean? I would like to think so. So you kind of want to know, because the first thing they're going to do is do what? They're going to try to say that the dudes he was interviewing, their credibility is this, that, and the third. That's how they do it, man. They target them and then just start, tearing them down, essentially, and saying, oh, no, these guys ain't no credible sources. They've done this, and that. They're hanging on by a thread in the military, this, that, and the third. They're always seeking attention, this, that. So I hope he did that.
Here's the deal, man. There's no official way that UFOs are investigated. People are not going through the formal process like they should. There should be tons of data on this. So the idea is just to try to find out as much as we can, try to get as much footage. So now people are coming out. They are coming with more footage, more information. I'm getting calls every second, which is exactly what we wanted, because this process is kind of broken. You know, the US government saying transparency, no problem. You know, we're gonna look into this. Oh my gosh. I mean, if I'm getting good intel, the US government's not getting the best intel. So I'm trying to accumulate as much as I can. Now, this case, if it is as described, that's very interesting. We're talking about an incursion of an unknown vehicle over a military base. If it turns out to be flares, then that's also really important. You know, let's get that information out. But it is representative of what people are really concerned about. We know we have very special weaponry and we have US assets that can do some really cool things. We also know that other foreign nations have technologies that we should be concerned about when it comes to duration of flight, that kind of thing, and just reconnaissance, as we saw with all the balloon stuff that was going over the United States. But there is a third element here. There are machines of unknown origin, unknown operator, and unknown technology and capability that durationally have been over classified airspace, or I'd say restricted airspace, flying with impunity, and in a lot of cases that are documented, even messing with our nuclear or tampering with our nuclear assets, not just in our country, but also in Australia, in Russia. So this is an issue. Look, we know UFOs are real. The government has told us as much. Remember, the 2004 Tic Tac UFO event, or the series of events, where Commander David Fravor chased a UFO, saw it with his eyes with a bunch of other people. It's on radar, it's on all sorts of sensor systems. That was during a training or a workup exercise. So was the 2019 UFO swarms, which, by the way, they're not our assets. Whatever swarmed our 10 warships in 2019 off the west coast of California, I have talked to more individuals directly involved with fighting those ships than any intelligence agency we have in the United States or beyond. For sure, that those were not US assets. And if they were other foreign nations, or you'd call them adversarial nations assets, man, that's an even bigger problem. But the issue is, we've ruled that out too, from what I understand. But that was during a training or a workup exercise as well. So here we are. There's this huge military base. It's known for training people. That's what it's there for. There's always trainings going on. So the question is, are these objects that we don't know where they're from, are they observing this? What's going on?
That's what I was saying earlier, man. If you notice, a lot of times that's where we're seeing them, or people are seeing them near military bases and stuff like that. So why wouldn't this be a high priority level of importance? I don't understand that. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, if let's take it to a sports analogy, right? Remember the whole Deflate Gate and all that type of situations with the Patriots, and they were looking at people's practices, recording people's practices. Think about what they were doing. It's the same thing. Are they trying to get an upper hand on us? To which, I mean, judging by what we've heard about some of the aircrafts and different things like that, the speed, the technology, they already have it on us. But they're continuing to study us, or so it seems.
I told you all this research wasn't for nothing. I knew aliens were real.
There's more lights around it.
So this is one of those unique moments where I'm asking for help. I'm asking for anybody else that was at 29 Palms military base, Camp Wilson, or anywhere within the almost 1,000 square miles of this base. Were you there that night? You know, do you have footage? And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to get. And in fact, that information is coming in. So look, UFOs are real. Our government has told you that much. They said that there are machines, we can't duplicate their technology, and we don't know where they're from. There's no sticker, there's no tag that says made in China, made in Russia. We don't know. But this idea that we don't have a 360-degree complete understanding of what's within our airspace, now that is a problem.
31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
Whoa, splashed. Mark bearing and range.
So you see Congress, Senate is holding hearings. We're trying to get as much information as possible as journalists, George Knapp and I, as journalists. But we have to heal or mend that divide. We need to get to a point where that information flow is going where it should, and then I'll be obsolete. You know, my job is being the go-to guy, like who are you going to call if you see a UFO, right? Hopefully at some point, I won't have that job and it will be reported properly. So that's what's going on.
Oh, that article that just flashed. How do I get back to that?
I won't have that job and it will be...
Son of man involved in famous UFO case has written a book about ongoing mystery. I don't know. I just saw what looked to be like something on his chest. It says Stephan was treated at a hospital for burns to his chest and stomach that later turned into raised sores on a grid-like pattern. This was May 20th of 2017, done by, it was last updated in 2017, May 20th of 2017. CBS News put this story. Sheesh. That caught my eye. Like, I knew that was unusual. That just did not look right.
Be reported properly. So that's what's going on today is we're really looking to get as much information as we can, put it out to the public. Lots of slings and arrows coming my way for doing this. But I think ultimately it raises awareness and information of like, how does this work? How do you investigate UFOs? You can only go, and look, UFO just means unidentified flying object, or UAP, which is, you could say unidentified aerial or anomalous phenomena. You don't know till you know. So the only way to go about this is to get information out and ask for data.
What do you think you saw?
I couldn't tell you. I just know it's not anything that I recognized or any of my close friends could recognize either. So I don't think it was anything U.S. military. Definitely some type of UFO, and the government was trying to look for it after it disappeared. I'm just trying to figure out what that was.
This is a highly documented event. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Like through exercises, we've worked with a lot of people who use different type of weapons. So I've never seen anything like it.
We're also getting more details on the Tupac Shakur murder investigation. ABC News is learning more about the target of this week's police search and what they took from his home. Kana Whitworth has the latest on the investigation, unsolved for nearly 3 decades.
Shocking new details in the latest investigation of the 1996 unsolved murder of legendary rapper Tupac Shakur. ABC News learning the search warrant executed Monday in Las Vegas was at the home of Dwayne Davis, known as Keefe D, just miles away from where Tupac was gunned down during a drive-by shooting. ABC News obtaining this exclusive video of armored vehicles driving
miles away the entire time, just miles away,
down the suburban street just after 10 p.m.
Stop moving around. Put your hands up.
Video obtained by TMZ showing a tense standoff outside the home in Henderson, Nevada.
Put your phone down. Put your hands on top of your head. Hands on top of your head right now.
According to the warrant, police seized multiple items, including computers, storage devices, notes, photos, and other documentation detailing Keefe D's involvement with the Southside Compton Crips, a well-known LA gang. Police also took copies of the book Compton Street Legend, the memoir he wrote, which details what he believes led to Tupac's murder. He claimed in a 2018 documentary series, Death Row Chronicles, that he was in the car with the shooter.
You said the shots came from the back. Who shot Tupac? to keep it from the cold of the streets. It just came from the backseat for him.
The evidence is now being presented to a Las Vegas grand jury.
So this is the biggest development in the Tupac murder case since this all happened, since the murder happened. They never served a search warrant and, showed up at someone's house with the SWAT team back in 1996. So this is definitely, it can't be overstated how big of a deal this is.
Shakur's murder had all the...
Yeah, if they showing up with SWAT and deploying all these different agencies like that, they got some type of hard evidence to prove that this person is either very, very connected or is the person responsible for it.
Markings of a gang-style hit.
Tupac was shot multiple times while sitting at a red light near the Las Vegas Strip. The rapper dying several days later. Experts say this latest investigation could shed new light on one of the biggest cold cases in modern pop culture history.
Seriously. I don't think you raid someone's house in something this high profile, knowing full well, the media attention that's going to get, unless you feel pretty strongly.
Exactly.
And Diane, no charges have been filed. This warrant was served without incident. One neighbor told me they saw a woman sitting on a curb during the search. Authorities took multiple laptops and iPads and, Diane, what they described as a tub of photographs.
All right, Kana Whitworth, thank you. And I want to bring in ABC News legal contributor, managing partner at the Cochran firm, Shauna Lloyd, for more on this. Hi, Shauna. So how significant is it to see a search like this in a case this old?
Diane, it's quite significant. What we find is that when a search warrant is executed, it's because law enforcement has significant information that they believe can lead to either an indictment or an arrest in a cold case.
Now, investigators have long believed that the gunman in this case, whoever shot Tupac, is likely already dead. So why go through all of this?
Well, it's still an unsolved crime, and law enforcement is charged with the duty of making sure that they get and arrest everyone that's connected with a crime. So if there is an accomplice that helped commit this murder, they still are looking for that person.
Now, the evidence in this case is now being presented to a Las Vegas grand jury, but detectives have said that they doubt anything retrieved in this search will directly link the target of the investigation to the drive-by shooting that killed Tupac. So what are they hoping to show?
What they're hoping to show is circumstantial evidence. When we have a cold case that's this old, there's highly unlikely that you're going to find direct evidence. So what you're looking at is circumstantial evidence that could link an accomplice or others that were involved in the murders to the murder. And so that's what they're going to present to the grand jury and seek to move forward from there.
And then you take a shot. I mean, like you said, it's almost 3 decades old, but you take a shot at somebody as far as getting them in a not witness protection, but you get them in an interrogation room and you really start leaning on them. One of them may crack and talk and break the case wide open.
And no one's been charged in connection to Tupac's murder. Based on what we know so far about this investigation, do you see that changing anytime soon?
Not really, Diane, because what we know so far and the information that we have so far is likely that the shooter is dead. However, there still may be others that are involved with the crime that may have charges come out of this.
So what happens next in this case, Shauna? What are you watching for?
What I'm watching for is any developments from the grand jury. We're looking for any indictments that may come forward or other search warrants that are granted based on the information that they got out of this particular raid.
All right, Shauna Lloyd, always great to have you, Shauna. Thank you.